British Theme Park Archive needs your help to raise funds for a special project. In the last few years since making the documentaries, I've been busy creating a book on attraction designer Keith Sparks and the Sparks Studios projects. This covers about 40 years worth of attraction industry history, but really it's the story of how theme parks started in this country.
Firing squad, down.
Unfortunately, the research confirmed that most of the Sparks Studios archives were lost to a fire some years after the studio closed. A lot slipped through the cracks, and we have most of what we need for the book, except for their two best-known dark rides, sadly, Professor Burp's Bubbleworks and the Haunted House at Alton Towers. Also, nothing of the finished vampire station at Chessington. This means there's almost nothing to show of how these attractions looked when finished, the way they were originally completed by Sparks. All three of these changed a lot in their time, and in the case of the Haunted House, changed drastically within just 2 or 3 weeks of opening, as you'll find out in the book. So even if you're a die-hard fan of these attractions, you'll probably be surprised at just how different they were brand new. The book does show the whole production of these attractions, but it wouldn't mean anything if you couldn't see the finished attraction where all Sparks' work paid off. So after a lot of work, we managed to find hundreds of production photographs, workshop pictures, and technical documents, scripts, artworks, videotapes, audio tapes. These transparencies actually date back to the 1960s. We even found rejected lighting photographs, stuff that was thrown away, the outtakes, so blurry and wrongly timed. We even found those, but not the full lighting, the actual final lighting photographs themselves, which were lost in the fire. And we only have these because they were presumably thrown away and then someone found them in the bin and decided to keep them. And now that's all that survives. But with all this material, we now have reference for everything that went into the ride, every small detail. So here is the plan. Dark rides are designed to appear under lighting, and in flash photo the effect is lost, especially for blacklight effects. But 3D modelling allows scenes to be recreated the way they look new and accurately lighted to look exactly as if you'd taken a photo back then from the rider's perspective. What we'll do is provide all the archive references and guidance needed to get it completely accurate. Here are some of the mock-ups I've done already. The final results will then be checked by the ride's original lighting designers from Sparks. About 12 scenes need to be modelled in 6 months, so this is where we need your help to raise funds to pay freelancers to model the complex parts. And any fans out there who are 3D modellers and want to volunteer their efforts will be really helpful to come on board. Thank you also to all those who have come on board already. If we reach our target on Kickstarter, will be possible to do, and the more funds raised, the more we'll be able to finish in time for the book's release. If you donate £10, you'll get access to video commentaries on the making of our 4 existing Dark Ride documentaries. If you donate £20, you'll get your name credited in the book as thanks. And if you donate £30, the first 50 of you will receive a free advance copy of the book before its public release. Remember, Kickstarter is all or nothing, so if we don't reach the target, no money will go to the project and you won't be charged. Time for your questions. Do you have to buy the book to see the recreations? It's mainly to create perspective renders to put in the book in full colour. It will be high quality print, but I also plan to make a web page on our upcoming website to showcase everyone's efforts, see how we made the model, see how we went from the reference pictures through to the finished thing, see how accurate it is, and this way people will be able to explore the model in more detail as well outside of the book. And the more we can do, we might eventually be able to make it into an interactive feature, who knows. What's in the book? The book is a part biography on Keith Sparks, who you may have heard of. You definitely won't know the full story, and it's quite an amazing untold story. It's been made with the support of his family, his former colleagues across many years, different parks all around Europe. And by the time it's finished, this project would have been about 4 years in the making. As well as the original Bubbleworks, Haunted House and Vampire, the book features the beginnings of Alton Towers, including Around the World in 80 Days, Doom and Sons, the beginnings of Thorpe Park with Magic Mill, Phantom Fantasia, Space Station Zero, attractions from Blackpool Pleasure Beach, the early days of Pleasurewood Hills, and many more parks around wider Europe. It will have new interviews and contributions from many industry veterans around the world, including all the teams behind the attractions I just mentioned, Roland Mack of Europa Park, John Wardley, the former directors of Pleasurewood Hills, Melly Park in Belgium, Linnenmarki in Finland, Howard Kelly, formerly of Sally Corp in Florida, and many more people. At this point I have to point out that the book isn't officially endorsed or associated with any of the parks or attractions or their intellectual property. There's nothing dodgy in the book, I just have to say that. And it's just as much about his teams as well, the people that created the rides and designed and the parks that began because of Keith's influence. These are Keith Sparks' work diaries that I was lent very kindly from the late 80s through to his last projects. And absolutely all of this is first-hand research. Most of the material has never been seen before. Every page pretty much has at least one picture on it. It's a very illustrated book. Why doesn't British Theme Park Archive do the modelling? So British Theme Park Archive is just run by me in my spare time. In this I cover the travel for research and interviews, book graphic design, sound editing, audio mixing, picture restorations like dust removal, and the video editing, but I can't do 3D modelling, and this needs to be done by people who really know what they're doing. How was the rest of the project funded? The recreation is just one element of the book. Most of the sale price of the book will be there to cover the high quality print and production. A percentage will also be going to a charity of Keith Sparks' family's preference, and that exact percentage will be agreed nearer the time with them. A lot of the expense goes on digitising archive material. I've got some equipment to digitise most tapes, but a lot of it comes on strange formats. This particular tape is a U-matic tape. It's one of the few bits that survive. It's completely unlabelled, and that had the entire unedited model footage of the haunted house model at Alton Towers going through the entire thing, which is quite incredible. And you know, who would have known that that was on there? I recently sent off some Super 8 cine film that Keith Sparks filmed in the 1970s, and we found in his old studio. So I don't know what's on there yet, and we've sent it off to be found out. But this all cost hundreds of pounds to digitise to a professional standard. And there are so many tapes that we've done that with. And the equipment, I've just recently saved up enough to buy new filming equipment for the new run of videos next year. So I don't make money off Theme Park Archive anyway. So all the rest of my budget now needs to be saved for printing the book when it's all finished. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and please share the fundraiser with anyone you think will be interested. Please donate as much as you'd like. With your help, it'll be absolutely fantastic if we manage to pull this off, and I can't wait to finish the book next year and get all this stuff out there for everyone to enjoy, and then get to making more videos. Bye bye.